expansion.
And the other thing too is the mentor, the importance of the mentor, of having that, you know, person not only to part with wisdom and to teach and all that, but someone that you can look up to and follow. So tell us a little bit more about what that relationship was like. You mentioned John, and funnily enough, John has got Baba Ganoush in Dural now, which is up the road from here. And I saw some of the photos that we were discussing about sharing on the show, and I said, I know this man. And funnily enough, he owns the restaurant up the road here in Dural, and I've been going there quite regularly. And the place is amazing. For all those people out there, if you're in Dural area, Baba Ganoush, round corner shops in Dural, amazing, good Lebanese food. So I digress, but tell us a little bit about John and how that all came about.
John is an extremely dedicated, smart, passionate man.
Sure.
And he expressed his passion and he expressed his love from the moment that I'd met him. And he was a lot older than me. He's about 15 or I think 20 years older. But just the fact that he took me in at the age of 15.
Sure.
He saw my potential.
Sure.
And he didn't give up. Right. And the way he you know, took me to places, the way he showed me, you know, introduced me to his colleagues, his networks, his suppliers.
Sure.
And also just the way he showed me the world of how he developed. So he started, John, for those who don't know Coffee Emporium,
sure,
he started off he was a migrant. His first job was, I think it was a bricklayer. And
Lebanese, right?
He's Lebanese, yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Bricklayer, and he loved coffee. He would tell me stories how he would. Well, the way he loved it was just different.
Sure.
Which explains why he's where he is today. And he loved the craft. He loved creating it. So he told me to stick away from making coffee sticking away from his job and be at the cafeteria having coffee all day.
I think a lot of people don't realize this, but when the waves of migration came to Australia, particularly post, let's say going back to the 50s and 60s and then even into the 70s and 80s, Australia was a very different place. The food was very different. What we see today with this incredible coffee culture, which I myself, having traveled around the world, is up there with like the best of the best.
Absolutely. It wasn't always like that.
No, definitely not. And the same goes for food and other sort of social and cultural things. But definitely coffee and food has come a very long way.
Absolutely.
And that's very much thanks to all these passionate waves of migration that have come in. So I think I can definitely relate and understand why the guy was sneaking out for his coffee, but not only that, but starting his own coffee so he could have it the way he wanted to, right? Yeah,
exactly right.
Yeah.
So I looking back and reflecting, I respect him a lot because he started off very, very tiny, and the dedication that he had for his passion, and he never lost sight of what he wanted. So what I'm really getting at is I understood the passion, I understood the dedication, and also the vision that it takes.
Sure.
And it's how you share that with the rest of the world, and that, you know, how you communicated the message you sent.
Yep.
So I learned that from him in that sense, and to me he was a bit of a father figure for me.
Sure.
Because I grew up with my dad. So for my adolescence, he wasn't there.
Oh, okay.
So for him to mentor me and, you know, to treat me like a son, so it was very important for me.
Okay.
And I'll never forget that.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny again. I mean, I'm only just hearing this now and briefly before we started the program, but what a small world, because I had seen that photo and I'm trying to get Paulie to put it up on the screen. I just got to wake him up. Hold on. Paulie!
Is that what you're saying? I'm here.
My hand gestures, man.
Is he gonna do it? Is he not gonna do it?
Sorry, brother. No, we're doing this show. It's midday in Sydney as we're filming the show, but it might still be too early in the day for Paulie, or maybe he hasn't had his pre-workout or something.
No, Max, I'm thinking you're saying take films of you and photos. I was like, what the?
Yeah, good on
you.
It's
okay. You got eventually.
Good on
your champ.
Have a mint. Have a mint.
Yeah, have a mint, brother. Have a mint.
You got plenty on the
day.
For all of you that don't know, so we've done a couple of shows, and Paulie was very noisy opening up his fucking packets of mints and stuff, and
you can hear it.
Yeah, that I know you guys can hear that, right? So very conveniently, just to show how much of a machine and dedicated man Paulie is, I noticed when we start the shows now, there's a row of mints on his table, like not in the packet, which means yes, he can still have his mints and he doesn't have to make noise.
Annoy everyone.
All right,
my man.